Hello, coaches. Welcome back to another episode of Coach Better Spotlight. My name is Kim Cafino, and I have worked with hundreds of teachers, coaches, and leaders in schools around the world to help them create thriving and sustainable instructional coaching programs. And I'm on a mission to help you coach better. Wherever you are in your coaching journey, come learn with us in one of our courses for instructional coaches or in our private mentoring packages. Join our global Coach Better community and find all of our resources for instructional coaches on our website at coachbetter.tv. If you have a question you'd like to hear us answer or a topic you'd like us to discuss, please drop us a line on our website at coachbetter.tv/ask, join our Coach Better Facebook group, or find us on social media at Eduro Learning and send me a DM. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to catch all of our latest episodes here on YouTube. Today's episode is one in our series of coaching case studies with one of our amazing The Coach graduates, Nicola Millard. These case study episodes are designed to share the story of an instructional coach and the development of their coaching program and practice in their unique setting. In this spotlight episode, we're focusing on the ways that Nicola thinks she can continue to grow in her instructional coaching role, even as an experienced coach. In the full-length episode, we also talk about how Nicola built the coaching program at her school from scratch, starting with pitching the position of instructional coach all the way through multiple years of implementation. We also talk about what coaching looked like when it first started, how it changed over time, what challenges she faced, and her aha moments in her coaching practice during the Coach Certificate Mentorship Program. If you're curious about implementing an instructional coaching program from scratch, this episode is for you. To listen to the full episode, subscribe to Coach Better wherever you get your podcasts. This episode is a fantastic example of how instructional coaches are leaders in their school community. If that sounds like you and you want to continue developing your leadership skills as a coach, you'll love our new workshop for experienced coaches, Scaling Your Impact as an Instructional Coach. You'll find it at edurolearning.com/scale. And I'll tell you more about it, as well as another great opportunity for you to grow at the end of this episode. All right, let's jump in. What I'm hearing is that you structure your practice around the themes of the school year, and so that you are in the right place at the right time when teachers need you. Yeah. And because you've been at the school for so long, you are top of mind in various environments like AP meetings, like team meetings, like curriculum planning meetings, so that people know that you're available. And so I think that's also another thing that I think is special about coaches is you have the ability to create a unique position based on the culture of your school. Not every school is going to want a coach that works exactly that way, right? They might want a coach that works like a slightly different way. And how great is it that you have the freedom to create that job that supports teachers' needs based on the context, the culture, the environment of the work that in place that you're already working, right? I think that is just really cool. And so I appreciate the way that you're kind of just talking in highlights, like I ask for feedback, I'm in the right place at the right time, like these things, because I think you've developed a coaching style that is perfect for your school setting.
Right. And it does, I was recruiting this year and I was looking at coaching jobs originally. And that was something as I was preparing to, put together an interview pack for myself to review before interviews. It was thinking, right, this is what I do, but that's not necessarily what's going to work in every school. It might not be what they're expecting, even if they don't know what they need or want yet.
Yes.
But I also, in my squad on the coach, there was another team member who is working in a team of 4 across primary and secondary. And as much as you know and understand what you want to do, it doesn't necessarily mean in a team of coaches that that's going to work and that the same way you might do things or even have greater impact, because everyone's not maybe on board or thinking the same way as you are. So I feel like I have been in a very unique situation, and it can feel a little like it just all worked out, which it did. But I feel like I wouldn't expect that second time around. So I do need to be a little bit, cautious in that.
Yeah. And it's good when you can start seeing the connections or the consistencies between different coaching roles. That's why one of the reasons why I think the coach is so valuable, because you get to meet people in different schools that are also coaching and see like, okay, what does it look like over there? Okay, what does it look like over there? These are all things we're all doing. This must be a thing that's generally effective in most settings. And so you kind of know what your basic building blocks are, the corners of your puzzle, or whatever image you like in your mind, and then you can start to adapt and tweak based on your environment. So you've told us all the things that are really good, and you've told us how coaching is working. Is there anything that's challenging in your current environment that you struggle with as a coach?
Part of it, I think a lot of it is on me. I'm quite critical of myself, and I can always think of a million ways I could have taken it further. And I think I sort of alluded to it before, that I perhaps could be pushing people to commit more and bigger. I wouldn't say it's the whole coaching light, coaching heavy thing, because that happens anyway, but it's just it's a time thing. I'm maybe a little bit too respectful of people's time, and that maybe when we've gone through a coaching cycle, I should keep pushing and coming back. And it was something I had thought, because one of my big focus areas was impact, but I was starting to think, well, what's the longer term impact? It's fairly easy to tell what the impact is from when we first sat down together in a coaching conversation until whatever our perceived timeline was. But to go like, the following year, where's the lasting impact? And I think that's where I should and could have gone a lot further. And I did the way I would track my coaching was on a spreadsheet. And I would, this evolved out of the need to have somewhere central. And I would say, what was the focus? What did we talk about? And this, everyone on the same sheet. And then where's my next moment to jump in for feedback, or for just checking in. So whether it be an email, in person, if we're going to sit down again, and I would have spaces to track all of those moments. But there was never the next moment in the next year or the follow-up later. So I had started the end of last year, when I got to the end of the school year, writing down those people who I knew would be great to, come back to again, to do the full circle moment again. New group of kids, new year group perhaps, how was it all tracking? I would say that's should have been the next step, and maybe where I was missing a beat. But honestly, I'm so busy with someone new. And that's what I don't like about it, to be honest. It always feels like you're going on to the next thing. And it would have been nicer perhaps to stop a moment and stick with, or come back at least to some of the older things that had taken place. I do feel like there are a few teams that were lost along the way. You start with them, there's momentum, but to a point, there's only so much momentum I can drive, or the coach can drive, and then it needs to be either picked up and continued with those people, or it just didn't stick anyway, and it was never something that was that important to them. And I do think it always does need to come back to being driven by that person. And I think that maybe just, if they've let it go, it probably says all it needs to say in some respects, that it wasn't necessarily what hit for them.
I almost think now we're getting way into the deep of like measuring the impact of coaching. And I don't know if everyone's going to be super interested in this, but I almost think it would be interesting to even see which are the things that carried on and which are the things did not, because that could be interesting reflection for yourself. Like, oh, these three things, let's say these three things, people didn't pick up on these again. Like, we got it into the curriculum. It's in the maps, it's in the planners, but they just decided not to do it. Like, I wonder why. What was it that made that not successful? That could be a very interesting, like, curiosity-driven quest.
I think I figured it out, is that the things that haven't necessarily stuck, and they're generally team things, because those are the things
that's hardest,
that aren't fully personal, driven by the one person. It was because it wasn't that there were things done to them, but they were initiatives that were passed down by somebody. It was part of a strategic goal or a new plan or whatever it was, and they were all on board and wanted that change too. But it wasn't. They were not the ones driving it from from the outset. So I was there to support that process, but I think because it wasn't initiated by them specifically, it's generally those things which don't have the same impact as the others.
So this kind of comes back to, you're saying that one of the things that you feel challenged by is that you wish you could sometimes take coaching further and like kind of push further than people actually want to go. But listening to what you just said about the coaching that sticks is the coaching that's driven by the teacher.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, like it is an interesting balance, right? It's that fine tightrope that you're walking all the time to give them the space to have that next goal, give them the space to say, yes, I want to keep going. And also be like, kind of like, here's this shiny thing. Like, and I don't mean shiny thing as in like shiny thing, but like, here's something we could keep going with versus, all right, this is what you wanted. That is what we did. It's okay to be done with things sometimes.
Adult learning 101, and you just can't change it.
Yes.
Like I can't make it any different.
Yes.
You either want it or you don't. It's either important to you enough or it's not. It's a right now issue, or it's, or you can push it down the line. So, like you say, you can offer something shiny, but it's only as shiny as the person perceives it to be.
Yes.
Particular time.
And it comes back to, again, this like organic, naturally occurring coaching environment, as opposed to this like shiny, this is what we're doing, everyone should be part of it. It's hard because I can see advantages to both. If people know what's happening, they're more likely to opt in, and you can know what's happening when you're clear about it and you're talking about it regularly. But there's also that nice feeling of like, this is something safe. I'm just going to go over and work with Nicola for a little while. Like, it's not scary. It's not intimidating.
I do think that as long as you're supporting the bigger picture, because I think that was one of the biggest things that helped in my role, is that myself and the PYP coordinator got on so well personally and professionally, that because also she was in her position when I came along, waving my hand, doing things that she would perceive to be her role also. But the fact that we could play off each other and work together and support each other with that, I'm adjacent to the school-driven stuff, I guess I would say, but the fact that I'm supporting that bigger picture from the side, I think, that definitely helped. Having people like that on side and showing that you're actually helping them as well, but that you're taking the bigger picture stuff and helping that make sense maybe in people's eyes.
Thanks for watching this clip with Nicola. I hope this conversation gives you insight into what coaching looks like in other schools. As Nicola points out, there's always room to grow in your coaching role. It's being part of professional learning experiences like the Coach or our new Coaches as Leaders course designed for experienced coaches that will help you recognize the ways that you might be able to continue to scale your impact within your instructional coaching role. In the full-length episode, you can hear so much more about how Nicola has developed the program in her school and what she's learned about her own coaching practice through her work in the Coach Certificate and Mentorship Program. If this is where you are in your coaching journey and you're curious about embracing your leadership as an instructional coach to see the ways that you can scale your impact, make sure to watch our new free workshop for experienced coaches, Scaling Your Impact as an Instructional Coach. You can find it at eduralearning.com/scale. After you've been a coach for a few years, you know that you can't just keep working one-on-one with every colleague on staff. That's a ticket to burnout. Scaling your impact requires that you shift your mindset from seeing yourself as just a coach to seeing yourself as a leader, so you can create and advocate for the systems and structures that make coaching sustainable for you as an individual coach and for your coaching program in your school. Watch the workshop at eduralearning.com/scale. And if you discover you need support as you go through the process, join us for our first global cohort of our course, Coaches as Leaders, designed for experienced coaches ready to advocate for and build the systems and structures that are needed to truly sustain a coaching culture. In Coaches as Leaders, we'll help you recognize exactly which systems and structures you need and might be missing in your school setting, so you can make your coaching culture sustainable and you can scale your impact beyond working one-to-one to working with teams and groups. Registration opens only once a year, Get all the details at eduralearning.com/CAL. Wherever you are in your coaching journey, we can support you. If you're curious right now, if you have questions, please reach out. You can leave a comment on the show notes on our website at Coach Better TV. You can join our Coach Better Facebook group, or you can find us on social media at Eduro Learning and send me a DM. I'd love to support you on your coaching journey. See you next time.